Okay, guys, today we are ranking every single Clash Royale card by how helpful they would be in a bank heist. So let's go over our tiers real quick. First, we have we're getting away with it. We are for sure 100% making it out of that bank with all the money in the world, and we're not getting caught. Then we have pulling it off. So, like, we're going to do a pretty good job, but it's going to be a little bit messy. Then we have might work. Like, I'm really unsure whether or not we're making it out alive. Or not in handcuffs, you know. Okay, then we have probably getting caught, very self-explanatory. Then we have we're definitely going to jail, also pretty self-explanatory. And finally, we have they're calling SWAT immediately and probably putting us down, unfortunately. But real quick, check it out. Angel Cam, hell yeah, Angel Cam. All right, so let's do it. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the tier list. Now, I think for Mini P.E.K.K.A here, I think Mini P.E.K.K.A is definitely gonna be, they're calling SWAT and putting us down immediately. Okay, first of all, there's no real way to dress up the Mini P.E.K.K.A, right? He's in a suit of armor, and I don't know if he can take it off. I don't think he can, since he's like a nature spirit. So I think he's just like possessed the suit of armor, which means as soon as a guy in a full suit of armor walks into a bank with a sword, we're getting shot. Okay, we're getting shot, unfortunately. Fireball is potentially might work. Okay, if the fireball came in and crashed into the bank and blew open the vault, there's a small chance I could sneak in after and steal some money and get out and nobody would know, but that's a pretty big if. Okay, if we're being real. Cannon, I would say very similar thing to the fireball, where like the cannon could blow open the vault, but realistically, how are we getting the cannon in there without being seen and blah blah blah. There's a lot of stuff there to have to think about. Maybe we could set it up across the street. It could shoot into the bank and through the vault, and then I could sneak in and pretend I didn't know about it, right? I don't know. Musketeers, we're getting away with it. She's one of the very few people with a gun, which I feel like is very important in a bank heist, okay? If we're not doing anything crazy, right? If we're just walking in and going, get on the ground, you know, open the vault, I feel like having a gun is a pretty good step in the right direction. Maybe we can just knock her into pulling it off, though. I think that's fine. Next up, we have archers. I'm going to put them in the same category, okay? I feel like they're 3 people is a pretty good team size for this. I feel like that we got 2 people. They have some skills with a bow. You know, they're probably a little cunning, they're a little sneaky in a way. I feel like they're a good shot. Arrows, bro, we're going to die. We're going to die, okay? There's no way a volley of arrows would kill everybody in the bank at once. Even if it did, we just killed like 10 people, okay? That's horrible. We're already getting clapped on murder charges. I think as soon as a volley of arrows flies into the bank and the moment anyone can pinpoint us as being responsible, we're getting shot, okay? Goblins is we're probably getting caught, but it could work. I could see it work with the goblins. There's 4 of them, right? So I could just like send them in and they would do my bidding instead. I think that has real potential. You know, there's potential there. I don't think they're that smart though, so they probably listen to me, but they probably fuck it up a little bit. So I don't know. Tesla towers were definitely we're getting shot. Okay, and let me explain why. So if we had set the Tesla tower out like up outside, which I think would be the best thing to do, then it could like zap all the cops as they try to come in and stop us. But then we've got like 50 bodies, bro. We killed like 50 cops while trying to rob this bank, and that's just never a good idea. We're gonna get shot. Minions are almost really good in this situation, but I think they actually turn out to we're definitely going to jail, at least if not we're getting hit by we're getting killed. Okay, let me explain why. So I think minions are probably pretty good here because they can go and like maybe they can fly through the vent and they're small and they can do all sorts of stuff and they would listen to me and we can come up with the perfect plan and all of that. But all hell is going to break loose the moment somebody sees a minion, okay? The moment somebody sees a minion, shit is going to hit the fan, okay? So not a good idea. Bomb tower is very similar to the Tesla, okay? They're calling SWAT. You know, come to think of it, I'm starting to think a lot of these cards are not probably going to be very helpful here, but I really love this idea. And if you have an idea for a tier list, go ahead and drop it below in the comments. I do look at them and I try my best to go ahead and use ideas from the comments. So if you have an idea, go ahead and drop it in the comments. And let's go ahead and do Goblin Hut. But while I think about this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, I don't say that enough and it hurts the channel. And we don't want to hurt the channel. We want the channel to go up. Big number, okay? So help me out. Now, Goblin Hut. Goblin Hut is, we're going to jail. Okay, for sure, at best. Listen, the moment you set up a hut full of goblins that trickle into the bank to do God knows what, we're already, it's bad, okay? There's no cohesive plan we can build around a goblin hut, really, I don't think. Nothing that's really going to work out there. Giant. Giant might work. I think maybe we could argue probably getting caught, but he might work, okay? And the reason I say he might work is he's really big. You know, it's not every day you see a giant. It would be, he could come in and be rather intimidating, I think. We could dress him up in a little bank heist outfit, you know, and see what happens, okay? I'm probably getting caught, actually, but I think it's worth a shot. Wizard. I think with Wizard, we're probably getting away with it just from the sheer fact that he can fireball kill anybody instantly. He's going to be really tough for a cop to deal with, I feel like, off rip. Like, we can go in and he can go, everybody get on the ground. And the moment that somebody's like, tries to do something crazy, boom, fireball, erased from existence, okay? Disintegrated, right? So I feel like that's pretty good. He can probably use the fireball to blow open the vault. I think he's one of the best people in this situation, truthfully. Inferno Tower. Again, we can't, you can't really get the tower inside easily in a way that's going to be helpful. Sure, maybe we could use some of these to like blow. This might work actually. The more I think about bomb tower, maybe we could place the bomb tower in the exact spot where it could like bomb its way into the vault, and that might do something, but we're probably getting caught, okay? We have to build the tower or whatever out, set it up. I don't know. Rocket, listen, dude, Rocket is bad. We're getting killed, or at least jail time with the rocket. And the reason I say that is you can't rocket people, okay? You can't rocket people. If you try to rocket someone, you're going to get hit with murder charges, at least if you get caught. And the rocket has to come from somewhere, okay? And maybe I could set it up on a building to like go off on its own, and then it would, you know, detonate and shoot off. And it's a lot, okay? I feel like there's way too many instances where we could get caught there. Pump is useless here, okay? I wish there was like a useless tier. Maybe we need to add one, but we're just going to put it in the bottom tier because it's useless, right? We're definitely going to jail if we walk in there and try anything with the pump. What's it going to do? Barb Hut. I think Barb Hut we're definitely going to jail. In fact, Spear Gobs could actually go up to probably getting caught. So Barb Hut, we're going to jail for sure because they will just trickle into the bank, do nothing, and die or get us killed or cause a commotion or whatever. I just don't think it'll work out. But Spear Gobs, actually, we set up the Spear Gob Hut and it'll sit outside and progressively spawn goblins the more cops that show up, which will buy us a lot of time to do stuff inside. And if we even take a couple of them in with us, we might be able to get something done, okay? Mirror could work. Listen, everybody's thought about robbing a bank in their lifetime, okay? Just as a fun thought experiment with you and your friends, you're like, what if we tried to rob a bank? Could we do it? How would we do it, right? And I don't know, I got some faith in myself, right? I could figure it out. If there's two of me, we could probably figure it out. It might work, okay? Rage? I don't know about rage, man. This is useless. We're getting killed, okay? Imagine you rob a bank, you go in, you're super angry and pissed off, and you just start acting irrationally and yelling at people and swinging the gun around. You maybe pop a guy that you shouldn't have popped, and they're just gonna put you down because you're basically like a crazy person coming into the bank and like flailing around being insane. I don't think it'll work. Scarmy. So listen, let's do skeletons real quick because I want to talk about skeletons before we do Scarmy. So with skeletons, I think we're definitely going to jail. And the reason why is they're children, right? They're not very helpful in a situation like this, I don't think. And they're skeletons. Similar to the minions, shit's going to hit the fan the moment people see a walking skeleton, right? But unlike the minions, we can dress skeletons up to kind of conceal the fact that they're a skeleton. But then we just have 3 kids that we're trying to rob a bank with. I can't think of a worse idea than gather 3 random children and try and rob a bank with them, right? It's just a horrible idea. So skeletons, we're definitely going to jail. However, Scarmy is different, okay? 16 children, all dressed up in little outfits with swords, come into a bank, okay? I feel like something will be done, right? I feel like we'll accomplish something. I could see us pulling it off, all right? I don't care if any of the skeletons get caught. And frankly, it would be really silly to even try and catch the skeletons by the cops. If you catch them, they're kids, first of all. Second of all, They can't talk. You can't get any information out of them. And 3, you can't possibly identify which skeletons did what or are responsible because they all look the same. So I think that we have a pretty good shot, okay? Especially if we could somehow blend in and be a skeleton in a way. I think we could get it to work. Goblin barrel. I don't see the goblin barrel really crashing through enough of the building to get inside the vault. So I think we're probably just going to go to jail. I think we're just going to go to jail here. I think the goblin barrel would come in, crash into the bank, and they'd be like, what the hell? Well, maybe, actually, we're probably getting caught. I think I could get away with it, but they're definitely cooked. All right. Mortar. I think mortar has a lot of problems similar to rocket, right? Probably killing somebody by using it. Maybe we can blow a hole into the vault with this device, but then I have to sneak in after, and they're going to be like, who set up the mortar? And they're going to trace it back to me, and we're just going to get cooked. Baby dragon. We're getting away with it on baby dragon, okay? And the reason I say that is it's just a fucking dragon, bro. Imagine any situation, right? A guy walks in riding, or I guess flies in, rides in on a dragon. Even if it's a baby dragon, I show up and I'm on a dragon. I say, give me all the fucking money in the vault. Who's not going to listen? You going to try and shoot at a dragon? I don't think that's going to work, pal. I fire breathe. I got a fire breathing friend, okay? I just think we win with baby dragon. For sure. They're going to, now I could poorly conceal my identity and maybe they would see that, you know, I'm the guy who owns the dragon, but fuck, again, what are you going to do against the guy with a baby dragon? Probably not a lot. I don't think you can do a lot. Plus we have, it's like a built-in getaway vehicle, you know? Oh, sorry. Discord message. My bad. Let me turn Discord off. Let me kill Discord so we don't have that happen again. Okay. Zap is useless. We're definitely going to jail. I don't think we'll get in any trouble, like not killing anybody. They're not going to have any reason to shoot us for using Zap, but it doesn't do anything here. Maybe the lights flicker for a second. Like, who cares? Spear goblins. Spear goblins, I mean, they're basically goblins. Same thing. Freeze. Freeze has some potential. I could see us pulling it off with Freeze. So if we think about it, right, Freeze can freeze everybody in the bank, theoretically, which gives us plenty of time to actually go rob the vault. Now, we have to do a lot of other stuff to make that happen, but I think there's real potential of essentially freezing everyone in the bank for a second while we go do what needs to be done. The tombstone, I think definitely going to jail, okay? What's worse than, I mean, it's just like the barb hut, but they're skeletons, so they're even weaker. The skeletons from the tombstone are worse than the barb hut, so yeah. Barbarians might work in a similar way that I think we could get like the goblins to do our bidding and we could convince them like, hey guys, go in there. And I could do the same thing with the barbs. Like maybe I'm getaway driver for the barbs and they just go in and we hope for the best. I think that's a pretty good idea. It might work. Witch is interesting. Witch doesn't really summon anything. Or doesn't really turn anyone into skeletons. She just sort of summons them. And I think if we could summon enough skeletons, maybe we could do something on it might work. She's got magical powers, which are definitely a bonus in this situation, but I just don't get the vibe that she can really do a whole lot. Maybe the musketeer should go down a tier, and archers. The more that I think about it, these aren't very good in this situation. These are all might works, okay? I think that's fine. The knight, bro, we're going to jail for sure. The knight would never even do this. He would go, what? You want to rob a bank? You want me to rob a bank with you? And then call 911 on my ass. Absolutely. Okay. Minion horde. I actually think minion horde is might work. Okay. Minions, certainly 3 minions is not enough to really do anything, but 6 minions, if we walk in with 6 minions and we don't give a fuck about the fact that we're basically introducing mankind to little demon creatures and we just walk in like, hey, we fucking own the place now. Give us all your money. I think it could work, okay? I think there's real potential there. The prince, bro, we're going to jail. The prince adds nothing in this situation. A horse, useless. We can add the dark prince here as well. Horse, useless. Donkey, useless. Guy in armor, instantly draws suspicion. No shot at work. So we probably can't even get in the door without being stopped. Balloon. Balloon is actually pulling it off, okay? I think there's pulling it off, okay? Now, it doesn't go in with we're getting away with it because I think it's a pretty poor form of getaway vehicle, right? Like a helicopter could track us infinitely after we rob the bank. But we got a guy with a bomb. Okay, we got a balloon. Listen, I've heard worse plans, so I think that's fine. Giant smelly. I think we have a pretty good chance of getting away with it with Giant Skeleton. Okay, Giant Skeleton could probably like hide us in his backpack or whatever. And listen, he walks in with that bomb. Who's gonna stop? Who's gonna raise a fist to the Giant Skeleton, right? He's got a massive bomb that he can use to blow open the vault. He can walk in, he can just pile money into his backpack and walk out. It's a fucking Giant Skeleton. People are going to be in awe to begin with upon seeing him, and then nobody can stop him. I think he's unstoppable in this situation. Bullets are not going to put down the Giant Skeleton, okay? We're for sure getting away with it with him. He's god tier in this situation. Lightning has potential. It could work. There's potential of a lightning strike really doing something, shutting on the power. I don't know. I just think it's fine where it is. I don't know. Listen, okay, I think there's potential with lightning for it to work, but it's kind of convoluted. I don't want to get into explaining all of it. But realistically, if I had like 10 lightnings I could cast from a bottle, I could probably do something with that. There's potential there. Expo feels like these, but the exact same, okay? I don't think it's very useful. P.E.K.K.A. I mean, P.E.K.K.A is the same as fucking the Giant Skeleton, okay? She walks in, she goes, or whatever she says, and then just walks in and makes it happen, okay? The difference between her and P.E.K.K.A is that she's fucking huge, right? The intimidation factor alone is enough to be like, okay, listen, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what you are. I don't know how you got here. I don't know, are you armor? Are you a person? Are you a mech? I have no idea, but you've got a big ass sword. It's clear bullets aren't going to work here. Do whatever you want. See you later. Okay, I think that's how that goes. Hog Rider. The hog draws so much suspicion immediately, and frankly, I don't think his little hammer's getting us into the vault. We're getting caught 100%. Valkyrie, it's a woman with an axe. Again, we're doing a lot of suspicion here. We're going to jail for sure. There's some way the Hog Rider, like I don't know how the hammer works. Maybe he can get into the vault, but the Valkyrie, we're cooked. Okay, a woman walking in with an axe, immediate red flag. She's not nearly intimidating enough on her own, plus me. I mean, I'm not very intimidating, I don't think, unless I take my glasses off, and then I'm very intimidating, okay? But the Valkyrie, together, we're just not making it happen, okay? I don't believe. Now, the Golem. Golem, again, fucking S-tier guy to rob a bank with. He's huge. Can't be put down by bullets. Will immediately cause shock amongst all the people in the bank. They'll flee in fear and terror. And then he just walks in there and he's made to destroy buildings, okay? He will get through the vault and then we can just grab the money and leave, okay? S tier guy. Royal Giant. I don't think the Giants are nearly as intimidating as these guys up here, right? And the reason I say that is he's just a really big guy, which would be scary or interesting and it would cause shock, right? But I don't know. He does have the cannon, which I think is a real factor here, but you have a giant guy walking in with a cannon. I think he probably dies to like a bullet, you know? I just don't think he just seems, well, I guess he takes musketeer shots. We all wish we could take musketeer shots, am I right, guys? But I don't know, I'm gonna put him in pulling off. I'm not confident in his ability to survive. Listen, these guys, these gals, we're pulling it off for sure, though. 3 musketeers, 3 elite trained soldiers with guns. They're gonna do all the work, basically. They're gonna tell me what to do. I trust them to make this happen, okay? I trust them to make this happen. Barry's not cutting it, bro. Barry's not cutting it. We got one child with a bomb, okay? Maybe infinite bombs if we're being generous. Hold on, I gotta crack open a Pepsi Zero. I don't think he's cutting it, bro. We're getting caught. We're definitely going to jail. We're going to jail. He's got a bomb too. Okay, cops treat bombs very differently than the guns, okay? It's a big deal when somebody's got a bomb. So, yeah. Poison? We're getting away with poison. That may sound insane, but listen. It's certainly not going to be ethical. Listen, robbing a bank is not ethical. Sometimes you got to get your hands messy when you want to accomplish something in life, right? we poison everybody in the bank, kill them all, and steal the money from the vault, bro. I mean, it's just that easy, right? We pump the poison into the air vents and kill everybody. They won't be expecting it. And listen, it's dirty, but sometimes you just got to do, it just has to be done. I think we pull it off, okay? I don't think I need any help either. I think we just put the poison in the bank and kill everybody and walk out with the money. It's simple. Princess is useless here, okay? The fire arrows are also just like a menace. It's just asking to get killed, right? It's just asking to be shot, I think, and it doesn't really accomplish anything. So I think that makes sense. Ice Whiz. Ice Whiz can slow everybody down. I don't see him really having the same impact as the wizard, right? Like, I don't know how he gets into the vault. I don't know the extent of his cold powers. Like, if he can freeze something so much that it like does, I don't, excuse me, I don't know. I don't get the vibe that it could work, okay? I don't get the vibe it's like a shoo-in like the wizard is. All of the spirits are useless, okay? All of the spirits are useless. I don't think we even go to jail on this one. I think we can put them in the lowest category as in like completely unhelpful in this situation, but I don't think we go to jail here. And the reason for that is I walk in, the spirit comes after me or goes before me, and it jumps on a person, kills itself, and probably kills the person, and that's that. And I scream and run in terror and pretend like I don't know what happened. I don't see any way that they really help us, and frankly, I don't see any way you could really tie us to the spirits to begin with. So I think they're just like a wash. It's like it's basically useless. The furnace. The furnace is scary here, okay? I think the furnace would get away with it as well. Sure, seeing someone cast ice magic is scary, but if it's not instantly dropping people, you don't really have to like, you can shoot him, right? The furnace has armor. He's made of fire as far as I can tell, so I don't think bullets are really going to hurt him. And then on top of that, he can spawn fire spirits to kill everybody if we need. Like, the moment the furnace walks in, people are going to be like, what the fuck? And then he will spawn a single fire spirit, which will jump and incinerate one person, and immediately everybody's going to get what the fuck's going on, okay? They know we mean business, right? You cannot fuck with us. You want to end up like that guy? I don't think so. Put the money in the bag. Freelo, all right? Guards. Guards might work, okay? They're slightly better than regular skeletons, but not nearly the Skarmy level. We just don't have enough of them. It's only 3 guys. Sure, they may not die to bullets or whatever, but they're not really that intimidating either. I'm sure it's a skeleton, but I feel like if you bashed them with a bat, they would break in. I don't know. Yeah. Miner is goated, okay? We're definitely going to get away with it. Listen, he can tunnel under the ground. I mean, that's like 90% of bank heist movies is they tunnel into the bank. So I feel like this makes perfect sense. Maybe you could argue pulling it off. Only because it's just one guy and he's a little goofy, okay? Maybe just doesn't have that dog in him in the right way. I'm going to put him in pulling it off because actually the more I think about it, there are people who are better at this than him, so he goes there. Okay, and while we're talking about that, I feel like let's just go ahead and get them out of the way, bro. The drill, the goblin drill, okay, is god tier in this situation, right? First of all, more than one guy to help you. Second of all, a whole device that can go underground, pop up, do damage on the way in if necessary, then put stuff into the drill back and leave, right? And you have like minions. You've got like 4 to, I don't know how many spawn, like 8 guys, right? Like it's just a way different ball game than the miner, okay? It's super good. It's actually one of the best possible things you could have in this situation, I feel like. It's like certainly S tier, okay? Sparky. Sparky is scary, okay, in this situation, right? Like, Sparky can do some work. I'm confident Sparky could blow a fucking hole in the vaults now, and it could vaporize anybody. It does take a while to charge up, though, which is scary, okay? You could get shot. Sparky is sentient, though. The Sparky just kind of, like, goes in and does its thing, and then we follow up. I think we have a pretty high chance of pulling it off with Sparky. Sparky's intimidating. I think the cops would be afraid to really fuck with us in that situation, you know? I feel like we have a good shot. Lava Hound. Listen, if Baby Dragon was going to work, so is Lava Hound. I mean, that's self-explanatory. Bowler? Big purple guy immediately draws a lot of attention, okay? Big Rock, not very useful in this situation. I'm going to say we're probably definitely going to jail. All right, he just causes way too much suspicion, and then on top of that, the Rock is basically useless. Log. Also just going to jail. It probably doesn't get us into the vault. Sure, it could smash down like some people and stuff. I don't know. Listen, it's just going to cause a lot of destruction and not really accomplish the mission. So I think that's fair. Lumberjack, probably getting caught. There's some chance that we make it out of here alive together, you know, but I really think he's just like kind of a loose cannon, for lack of a better term. I feel like he's a loose cannon and he's just going to do some shit that we wouldn't expect. He'll kill a guy when you really like shouldn't need to, and things will get out of hand, and yeah, just not good. Ice Golem. Ice Golem is one guy. He's not particularly big or threatening. I don't think he would cause quite the scene, but he only does death damage. Otherwise, he just would kind of bang on the vault. I think we're probably getting caught. I'm not sure how the cops or anything would deal with him. He might like walk in and ignore everybody and they try and stop him and they wouldn't be able to, and he'd break into the vault. But then from there, things really get messy and I just don't see it working out. Mega Minion. Mega Minion is interesting. Mega Minion might work, okay? He has some armor. I think he might be able to eat some bullets. He would certainly be much more intimidating than 3 minions, I think. But he's not as useful as the minion horde. I think we're probably getting caught, okay? I just don't think we got the firepower with just Mega Minion and me, okay? I don't see it working out. Inferno Dragon. I think this is also S tier. I think we can go ahead and put all the dragons up there, right? Like, if some dragons fly into a bank, okay, and I'm on top of one or I'm next to it, and we're like, give us all the money that you got right now or else, and then we zap and kill one guy or fireball him or inferno him or whatever. Listen, there's no shot that we're not getting the money, and then we're on a fucking dragon so we can just fly out of there. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Graveyard. Graveyard is interesting. Graveyard makes me move Skeleton Army down a tier, okay? And the reason for that is there's a surprise factor that comes with Graveyard that doesn't exist with Skarmy, right? We cast the Graveyard inside the bank, and suddenly skeleton children are popping up out of the ground, and I'm like, listen, give me all the money. Like, okay, whatever you say, bro. I don't know what's going on, but whatever you say. Whereas if we just walk in with the Skeleton Army, I feel like that's less likely to work. The intimidation factor is a lot lower. Elite Barbs, these are some reckless dudes with swords and helmets on. It's not happening, okay? We're getting shot, bro. They're going to run in there and yell, and they're going to get put down, and then I'm going to get put down with them for being next to them. No, thank you. A tornado? I actually think Tornado's pretty good here. I think there's a real chance we pull it off with Tornado, and the reason for that is simply being, it would be almost impossible to trace a tornado back to me, and it has way more destructive power than lightning, right? I think it is way better than lightning. And because of that, I think that we fuck up the bank with a tornado, and then we go collect whatever money we can find, and we basically win. Like, who's going to stop us, you know? Clone. Clone has to go in the same thing as Mirror. I mean, maybe it's a tier worse because the clone is like blue and see-through, so it would instantly cause some weirdness, but I think it's about the same. Electro Wiz. E-Wiz. E-Wiz is he's certainly better than the Ice Wiz. Oh, excuse me. I should not be drinking this Pepsi, okay? E-Wiz is certainly better than Ice Wiz, but he's not as good as regular Wiz. I think this is a fine spot to put him in. I think we're pulling it off, but it's not nearly as easy as somebody who can cast fire. He can electrocute guys and definitely demonstrate some crazy powers where it's like, we should not fuck with these guys. We should probably just give them the money. But if they were to refuse to give us the money, I'm not sure how we would get in the vault with him. You know, it's not nearly as straightforward as the wizard. Goblin Gang. Goblin Gang might work, okay? I think it's similar to Skarmy. There's a real like commotion factor, a real shock factor that's going to come with having so many goblins run into a thing, and people are going to be like, oh my god, are those goblins? And then they're going to start shanking people, and then I'm going to be like, give us the money right now, and then I think we can make it out, but after that, who knows what happens. Dark Gob is useless, bro. This is basically like walking into a bank with a single person with a gun and being like, give us the money. But, well, actually, I put Musketeer pretty high. the more I think about it, dude, these guys are just not very good. They don't really bring enough to the table. It's basically like walking in with some weapons. I feel like we're gonna be like probably getting caught. Okay. Battle ram. This is like we could rob a bank in like 1940 and get away with it. Okay. Technology has surpassed the battle ram, right? Like we're not living in this era anymore, guys. This is not, we're getting shot immediately. At best, we get arrested. Okay. No, thank you. Executioner. I mean, where do we put Valkyrie? I feel like he belongs in the same thing as Valkyrie. Like, we're definitely going to jail. You show up with a weapon in a bank, you're going to jail if you don't get put down immediately. Bats feel like you really got to do some crazy stuff to make this work. Okay. Let's assume we had 6 sentient, I think it's 5 actually, 5 sentient bats who would do whatever we say and could be conniving and make plans. I still don't see it happening. Okay. Maybe they wouldn't be able to trace it back to me, so it might work, but yeah, I don't see that happening. Okay, let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Bandit is most definitely, we're probably getting caught. I could see it working potentially. She doesn't really bring a lot to the table other than the fact that she's already a criminal, so she might know some stuff about robbing banks that I don't. So maybe we could put it in might work actually. But it's just 2 of us. I don't know. I'm going to move her back down. I think we're probably getting caught with the bandit. Night Witch is interesting. I'm going to put her in the same category as the Witch. I just feel like the ability to summon anything is a very interesting thing that is going to cause some shock and a lot of commotion that could allow us to win the bank heist, that is. Skelly Barrel. Skelly Barrel's the same as Skeleton Army, okay? I don't think the addition of the barrel really does a lot here for us. Maybe you could do some other stuff that you couldn't do with the Skarmy, but I don't think so. Flying Machine, this is basically like flying over to the bank with a helicopter and then attacking it. And dude, we are getting killed 100%. Okay. If we are anywhere near the flying machine or associated with it, they're going to shoot us because the flying machine really can only shoot at the bank. Okay. It doesn't add that much. Cannon cart is a little better, I feel like. But this is basically just like walking in with a weapon. So I feel like it's the same stuff. If we use it on anybody, we'll get shot for sure. Mega Knight. Mega Knight is a huge guy here, okay? Mega Knight, I think we get a... This is a rare Mega Knight W, okay? I hate the Mega Knight. I'm not a fan. I think if you play Mega Knight, you should be put down. But this is a rare W for the Mega Knight, okay? Let's explain why. First of all, huge guy covered in armor. Big bonus. Probably can't be shot to death, which is the primary weapon the police are going to be using. Then he can easily get into a vault. He can easily kill people. Like, bro, he's got this in the bag. His identity comes pre-concealed, right? So pretty solid if you ask me. I think we got that easy. The fact that he doesn't have hands, really, he's got the big ball fist is something we can work around. Zappies. Zappies is probably getting caught. Maybe might work actually, because we can probably send the Zappies in on their own and have no like real affiliation with them that's easily seen. They are sentient, so they can go in there and do some work, but how do they even get into the vault? Actually, I don't think they work. I think we're definitely going to jail, or they are at least. I might not, but yeah, it's cooked. 1 barb in a barrel, bro. This is like log, but somehow not any different. Actually, it's the exact same. It's useless. Okay, Hunter. 1 guy with a gun, we're probably getting caught, but there is some potential. He's like musketeer level, I would say. Anybody who's got a real weapon, like a gun or something, there's potential there, okay? I think Royal Ghost is also S tier in this situation. I think surely we can scout with him at the very least and get enough information to rob the bank successfully if he can't somehow make it happen basically on his own. He can go through walls, I would assume. He's invisible. Like, dude, can you really ask for a better bank heist partner than Royal Ghost? It's kind of insane how good he is. If I had to like pick my top tier guy, it might be him. These other ones are pretty good, right? But they're going to cause a lot of commotion on a successful mission, right? Whereas the Ghost, man, he just makes that shit happen, all right? Next up, we got the Magic Archer. Not very good in this situation, let's be real. I know he's an outlaw. He is a criminal. Unfortunately, my my magic archer. I love him, but he is a criminal, and that's fine. We accept him for what he is, but listen, he's just not that helpful here. He's basically got a magical bow and arrow that pierces things. What are you gonna? Yeah, it's not working out. Rascals are similar to the bandit. Like, we're probably getting caught, but again, we have hardened criminals on our side who are like, they know what's up, so I see it. Like, yeah, okay, Snowball, useless. Let's be real. Definitely, like the moment we walk in and go, give us all the money, and they're like, what? And then a giant snowball comes in through the roof and kills a bunch of people, it's gonna be like, kill that guy, and then I'm dead. So yeah. Royal recruits. We're pulling it off with royal recruits, okay? Definitely. They will walk in. Dude, if 6 guys walked in, I guess 7 if you count me, with spears and shields and shit and armor, and we're like, hey, it is wooden armor, but I don't know. There's a lot of them. They can cause a lot of commotion. They can make sure nobody's doing anything they're not supposed to, like calling the police, and I think it'll work out okay. It's just enough guys where I think we're good. And plus they're military men, okay? They gotta have some discipline, right? Royal hogs are useless here. They are piggies. We could send them in on their own, but they're not gonna do anything. But I don't think we'll get killed, so. Gobby Giant. Mr. Goblin Giant is probably... He's gonna cause so much commotion immediately. Like, he draws so much attention. He's giant and green. But he does have 2 little guys on his back. It might work. I could see it working out okay. He's got more potential than looking at the rest of this stuff here. I think he's got more potential than anything else below him, certainly. So we'll put him there. Ram Rider is like Hog Rider, but worse in this situation. So we're definitely going to jail. If we walk in with a woman on a ram and she comes in there with her bolas and tries to bolo one person, we're going to get shot, okay? And if we don't get shot, we're definitely going to jail. Wall breakers. Wall breakers might work. Okay, I think wall breakers might actually work. So like, imagine if we walk in and then we are just in the bank, right? And then we send in the wall breakers after and they just run straight to the vault and blow it up for us. I feel like there would be so much commotion from seeing 2 little skeletons kamikaze themselves that we might be able to sneak in and get some money. It could work, okay? I could see it working. Earthquake, similar to tornado, I think we could pull it off with an earthquake. If we could on command cause a massive earthquake at the bank, we could sneak in and steal some money for sure. Diddy Cage, bro, he's already in jail. He's already in jail. He already fucked up. I don't trust him with anything. We're screwed. Fisherman, he just got nothing really. He brings almost nothing to the table. I'm going to say definitely going to jail. Brings almost nothing to the table. E-Golem. E-Golem may not necessarily have the physical strength or what's the right word, durability necessary to get into the vault, but I'm confident we can make it happen, bro. He can't even really die in a way, you know. He just divides himself at least once, if not twice, to live. So I think we got it. Okay, we walk in with a big purple guy made of goop, bro. Who's not handing over the money, right? I think we're good. Battle healer. Battle healer's not super useful here either. I think it's probably just we're going to jail. I think she does have wings. She might be able to fly, but a flying woman with a sword, she probably dies to like getting shot, you know. I just don't think she's got it in her. I don't think it'll work out. She's also probably too good natured to even want to rob the bank. Firecracker might work, okay? She's got a mastery of explosives that's very useful when you're trying to rob a bank, I think, right? But I mean, we have to do so much work to get from A to B there, you know. To get from I know a lot about blowing stuff up to I can successfully rob a bank, we have to do a lot of work in between. So yeah, just might work. Royal Delivery is interesting. Royal Delivery is probably getting caught, but there's potential here. Actually, I think it's very similar to the Goblin Barrel, right? Like, theoretically, we could drop the Royal Delivery into the vault room, and then the Royal Recruit could maybe get out with some money, but man, is there a lot of stuff that has to go right in between dropping in and getting out. So I think we're good there. E-Giant. E-Giant, I think we're pulling it off with, okay? First of all, giant, big plus in some instances, okay? Being very large in a situation like this can be a big deal. The thing that really makes me think E-Giant will work is the fact that when cops shoot him, it will be reflected back at them, the damage, and they'll kill themselves or nearly kill themselves. Excuse me, which is like a huge bonus, right? Okay. We basically have a nearly invincible big guy who electrocutes people, right? That sounds like, I don't know. I think it'll work. It sounds like it'll work to me. Okay. Mother Witch, I feel like is very good in this situation, right? I think she's really good because she can just simply turn everybody into a pig. I mean, damn, right? Like, what are you going to do against a lady who you walk up, boom, you're a pig now? I mean, how many times is that going to happen before they have to like sniper her? Probably enough for us to get into the vault. Now, are we going to get away with, I actually think she's old and stuff. So like, and she probably does die to just getting shot. There's a lot of stuff that has to go right in between there, but it's similar to the E-Giant. Like, we have a very powerful person on our team who can do a lot. Okay. Next up, we have Golden Knight. Dude with a sword. We're getting shot. Okay, you can't walk into a bank with a weapon and not be so intimidating that you immediately cause everybody to freeze. Okay, the Archer Queen though is actually pulling it off. I think she can go invisible, which is huge. But I mean, the Goblin Drill is better, right? Obviously, so she's still good though. I still think we can make it with the Archer Queen simply because she can go invisible. She's got a good weapon, right? That will be used to dispatch people as necessary. I think we got it. Okay. Being invisible is a huge benefit here. I mean, it's like being the Royal Ghost, except not as good because he can phase through walls, I would presume. Okay, Skelly King. Listen, you see a 6-foot-tall skeleton man in armor walk in, he summons a bunch of skeletons. Everyone is going to freak the fuck out and run out of there immediately. We own the place. We can do whatever we want. And you can't probably kill him. Not going to die to bullets. He's covered in armor. Arguably one of the best in this situation, bro. Absolutely. Mighty Miner. This is probably my favorite guy for this situation just because I think it's the most fun. It's the most flavorful. Maybe Furnace. I think Furnace is pretty cool here. But, dude, Mighty Miner is insane in this situation. He can dig underground. He has a big bomb. He has a bag, I think, on his back. Like, he's got the cool drill. I mean, he has almost everything you could want from a bank heist partner. He is absolutely S tier. He is up here. We're getting away with it 100%. Bro, these people up here, I look at them, I'm like, this is an elite fucking squad, okay? Especially up here. You know, maybe the Dragons, you could argue, could be moved down. Maybe they're not as good as I think they are, but I think this is a pretty solid list. Okay, Phoenix. Again, I think the Phoenix walks in. You see a mythological bird come into the bank. It's just over from there. You know, the commotion alone is enough to make it happen, right? And maybe you could say the same thing about skeletons or something, but they're just so small and you know, weak, I think, in comparison to like a giant mythological creature. I don't think it's quite the same. Monk is okay here. He's not fantastic. It might work, you know. If we go loud, you know, he can sort of like defend us with his ability to deflect projectiles. He would kill a lot of people, which is not good. There's potential. There's some potential. It might work, I think. Little Prince. 2 people. One has armor. Sword, crossbow. We're going to jail, bro. We may even get shot. It's a child. We're going to jail. It's just not a good idea. It's never a good idea to walk into a bank wearing a full suit of armor with a big sword, okay? I think we can all agree with that. You're just asking to get killed or sent to jail. Void doesn't do anything. It's similar to Snowball. We walk in, we void a single person or 2, and if we void 1 person, we probably kill them. If we void 2, we like half kill them. Like, I don't know. It's not working out. It's just useless here. Goblin Demolisher is pretty good, I think. Goblin Demolisher is like the Firecracker. I think it might work, right? Maybe a little better. I think the Goblin Demolisher is a little better than the Firecracker. He just he seems to know more about explosives. That's like his whole thing is demolishing, whereas the Firecracker is not necessarily that good at demolishing specifically. That's like his whole thing. But again, between blowing shit up and getting out of a bank with a ton of money, a lot has to go right. So I think that makes sense. Goblin Curse. Goblin Curse is goated. I think we get away with it with Goblin Curse. I mean, imagine this. We don't even walk in the bank. The Goblin Curse gets placed in the bank somehow. We pay a homeless man $10 to walk into the bank, throw Goblin Curse, instantly turn everyone in the bank into goblins who are doing our bidding. Remember, Goblin Curse makes the goblins friendly to you. They immediately go to the vault, steal all the money, and run out. That's going to make headlines, but damn, what the fuck are you going to do about that shit? God only knows how the world's going to react to a whole entire bank full of people being turned into goblins by a homeless man, and then it's robbed. Genius. We get out for sure with that one. Okay, Goblin Machine is... We're getting away with it. He's brilliant because he's a child goblin, which means he's hyper intelligent. He's got his own fucking rocket mech. I think we're good, okay? I trust this guy. He'll make it happen. It may not be the rocket mech, but he'll invent something or do something, and we'll make it happen, okay? I trust Goblin Machine. Suspicious Bush is just that, suspicious. We're going to jail, okay? Imagine you send in the bush, and they're like, what is that? Is this a prank or something? And then the little guys pop out with, I mean, listen, okay? It's not gonna work. Goblinstein. Goblinstein is interesting. It could work. There's some potential. I mean, it feels kind of like Giant though. Like we're probably getting caught. Okay, you send in a big green guy, it immediately draws so much suspicion. And sure, people might be afraid, but he's the Goblinstein himself very clearly will need to be near. I don't know. I don't trust it. I think he's probably pretty smart, but he's crazy in a way that I feel like the Goblin Machine is not. So yeah. Rune Giant. I feel like Rune Giant would just call the police on me, okay? I don't trust her. I feel like she would call the police on me immediately. Berserky is a child. I think she'd be up for a bank heist, but she is a child, so we're definitely getting caught. No, I'm sorry. We're definitely going to jail. My bad. Boss Bandit, I trust about as much as these guys, but maybe a little more, so it might work, okay? She's the boss of the bandits. She's got to be better than regular bandit, right? I think that only makes sense. And we'll just do Vines real quick. Vines is cool because we could walk in and hold literally everybody. Well, we could only hold 3 people in place. Actually, Vines is we're going to jail. We basically just walk in, assault 3 people, and then get tackled, and that's it. Like, what could we possibly do with Vines? And Spirit Empress is goated, okay? If listen, if the dragons alone were good, the Spirit Empress, she's killing it, okay? We're doing it fantastic work. I feel like it's guaranteed. So there we go. Okay, I feel like the towers here don't make nearly as much sense. None of these guys are impacting anything. But yeah, here is our complete list of which Clash Royale cards I think would be good at robbing a bank with me. Okay, there you go. That's my list. I think it's a pretty solid list, bro. If we go ahead and look at the bottom, I think this makes sense. All this makes sense. I don't think there's anybody I want to move. At the very least, I know our top picks here are goated as hell, okay? I know these guys got it on lock. Everything else you could argue, but I think my top picks are, my S tier picks are S tier for sure. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the rest of the videos today and tomorrow.